And as Sophie and her guests in that report so dramatically demonstrated, the horror of domestic violence has seen a ghastly rise during football games. I'm pleased to be joined now by Zoe Dronfield. Zoe herself is a domestic abuse survivor and is now a campaigner and has also written a book about the subject. Two curious questions to start off with. One is, it is a very important positive that the ONS have these numbers, because in many respects, as Sophie's report demonstrated, this is the abuse, this is the crime that almost dare not speak its name because people don't want to talk about it and people don't want to admit to it and do something about it. So that is an odd positive.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Alistair. Yeah, I'm all about the data. I mean, something that I've campaigned for a long time is a serial perpetrator register, so that those that are perpetrating domestic abuse and they are, they're repeat offenders, they're picked up and they're put on a register and then they are tracked and monitored appropriately.
One of the most difficult reasons for folk not speaking up about it, you detail very clearly in your campaigning and in your writing, and that is, and you have personal experience of this matter, the judicial system, and I'm afraid to say it, even the police, perhaps do not take it as seriously as they might do. Why is that?
And I think, again, that boils down to having the data available to them at the time when they need it. So, for example, in my particular case, when I made the first 999 call to the police, it wasn't flagged to them that they were dealing with a serial abuser, and he had done this before. And actually, had that had been flagged, I would have been a high risk as opposed to a standard risk. So it's really important that we are giving the tools to the police and able to do their job properly. But there's also about culture as well, because there is a culture of sexism and misogyny.
If you tie together what was in Sophie's report, which is the idea of having role models, particularly in the game, speaking up about it, that's equally important, isn't it, in the leadership of the police, to say to men and women, because it's not only women, but it's predominantly women, but it's men and women who face domestic abuse, speak out and you will be listened to and we will act. We want to hear that from senior police officers, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is it. In order to change culture, we need to ensure that we are constantly talking about this. We need it not to be a taboo subject, and we need it to be, the shame to be put where it should be with the abuser. I know that when I first spoke out sort of 8 years ago now, there was kind of people, I could see people wincing about it. They didn't want to talk about it. It was very uncomfortable. But, I'm pleased to see that we do talk about it more. And I think it's really important to keep that conversation going.
Well, we wanted to talk about it, and I hope you agree with me that Sophie did a brilliant job with that report and listening to those voices that she shared. And can I just say personally on behalf of the whole team, I know this isn't easy for you, but thank you for coming on GB News and sharing your own personal experience. And let's hope that your voices and those that Sophie had will make some progress on this troubling and horrifying offence. Zoe, great to talk to you. Zoe Dronfield, thank you very much indeed.